Welcome back to the halftime show on the PAC Sports Network. And time now to sit down with head coach Tim Loomis of the Thiel Tomcats as Thiel at home tonight against the St. Vincent Bearcats. And Coach, Thiel entering tonight's game after a bit of a layoff over the winter break, holiday break, but having won 3 of the last 4 going into the break. So obviously on a roll. Give us your thoughts on the team's first 9 games of the season to this point.
Well, kind of like what we thought, up and down. We've lost 2 difficult games, one double overtime, one overtime. The league overtime was a tough loss for us because it put us in would have been a big difference in the season right now. But the young kids are playing really well. The older guys need to pick it up a little bit, especially the veterans, Tejamula and a couple of others have been playing solid, but not high enough level yet for us to make a run at the league championship. So, but all in all, we're playing much better. Kind of a strange season though, Randy. Usually we have trouble scoring, as you know. And my wife has always said, why don't you recruit more shooters? Well, this year, I think we're like second league in scoring, and our defense hasn't been great off and on. So if we can solidify our defense and really tighten that up, I think we'll have a pretty good team by the middle of the year.
Yeah, 88 points the last time we saw you against Franciscan. So definitely a high-scoring team. You mentioned the defeat to W&J, overtime loss, and obviously a tough one certainly that Thiel could have won. Pleased with the way the team has bounced back since then, wins against Waynesburg, Bethany, and Franciscan.
Yeah, no, that was a test of the young kids. And actually, again, the freshmen and the sophomores have been playing exceptionally well. And I wanted to see how they'd react to that, because that was one of the more difficult losses we've had in a lot of years. I think it compared to the loss at Westminster in the playoff at the buzzer. And just to see how they reacted was very positive for us. So try and move ahead. We've had a long layoff. Unfortunately, at Division III, it's always like this. We're kind of like starting over again. We'll have 5 days of practice coming into here. So, we'll see how things go. But we should do okay tonight.
Looking at some of the players on your team, your top returnees, one of the best big men in the conference, and Ahmad Tejamola, second team All-PAC pick last season and averaging more than a double-double per game, the league leader in rebounding, which is always big in the Tim Loomis coaching handbook. How valuable of a leader and athlete is Tejamola for the Tomcats?
Well, to start with, academically, he's a grad student, and he'll get his MBA in 1 year. Then what he wants to do after this is get a graduate assistantship and go on for his doctorate in industrial psychology. So he's not only a good player, he's a great kid. And he started out as a non-recruited player. And we found out about him through another player that played here. And he's developed into maybe the best big guy in the league. That's to be seen by the end of the year. But, I wouldn't trade him for anybody else. He's a very tough guy. As you've seen him play quite a bit over his career, he comes to play every night. So he's just a top quality person and top quality player. I always said, if you don't have the league leader in rebounding and you're not the top defensive team, you're not winning the league.
In the last game before the break, game we had here on the PAC Sports Network, junior guard Marlon Ellerby, a career high 29 points and an 88-85 victory over Franciscan. Now, also the team leader in steals and assists. What kind of all-around talent does Ellerby bring to the team?
We get on him all the time because he doesn't really play defense. I think if he becomes a good, solid defensive player, that he'll really, I think, tune it up and become one of the better guards in the league. But offensively, he's improving. He's doing what we ask him to do: draw a lot of fouls, get the free throw line, play your position, distribute the ball. He had a great game against Franciscan, as you said. But I think there are a lot of areas that he's still not real solid in.
And as a freshman, Ethan Barnes, he appeared in 22 games and started 5 last season. Now as a sophomore, Barnes averaging 12.9 points per game. How much of a leap has Barnes made now into year 2 with the Tomcats?
Well, he's become our stopper defensively. And again, he's improved a great deal from last year. He's become much more coachable. As a freshman, he had a lot of deficiencies. But he's a very coachable young guy, and he's doing great academically. He's improving and becoming a better defensive guard in the league that's this time of the year. he's one of the guys who really need to step up.
And behind Tejamola and rebounding is junior Rashad Hooper, which is a great name for a basketball player. He's averaging 7.9 rebounds per game to go along with 9.7 points per game, so just under 10. How much of an asset is Hooper around the basket?
Well, he can also step out and shoot the ball a little bit. Now, he has, we think, a fracture in his right hand. It happened 2-3 games ago. But he's been playing and he's been practicing, so he's not shooting the ball as well as we need him to shoot it. But again, he's up there, I think, top 5 in rebounding, maybe, as you mentioned. He's doing a good job. And again, he, along with Ellerby, really improved and made us a much better team.
And rounding out the starting lineup is Kayam Exum, a junior guard from the same high school as former Tomcat Daquan Simmons. What kind of skill set does Exum bring?
Well, he's kind of solidifies the team. He's more of a distributor, good defensive pressure guy. He gets hurt a little bit on his size. He's a small player, and they use that to other team's advantage. So we've been, he's been sharing time with the freshmen who have really been moving up the ladder. But Exum's a team leader, great guy in the locker room, and of course, he just comes 110% because that's just the kind of guy he is. But they're all doing a pretty good job.
And off the bench, you've got some exciting freshmen as well in the form of Mike Brown and Elijah Harden. Harden from Kennedy Catholic, which is a great program, of course. How bright is the future for those two guys?
Those two really, they've made a difference in their team. And they've advanced so quickly, as good as any freshman I've ever had. Harden's shooting the ball well. They're learning the game. They still have a long way to go, especially late game situations. But and again, I think a couple games where other teams had runs on us, they didn't know how to handle that. But through practice and listening and being very coachable, both those kids are going to be really good guards in this league.
In the PAC preseason poll, Thiel was picked in the top 4. In building off a strong finish from a season ago, you won 5 in a row to end the regular season, had the heartbreaking loss at Westminster in the PAC quarterfinals that you mentioned a bit earlier on, a 2-point defeat. But building off of last year, do you feel like there's a carryover of momentum from last season?
Oh, definitely, especially with the older guys. And the new guys we brought in, we made sure recruiting that they would fit in, not only just as players, but as people. I think that's a big thing in building teams that are good teams. Talk about the locker room. It is important. And these kids have come in and fit in along with Rudy Hypolite, the kid from Florida, 6'4". Those 3 freshmen have made a huge difference in our team and in the locker room. And all the kids, I think we have 5 or 6 new players. That's been a big difference to advance quickly rather than, take a process through the year.
And with that nice blend of experienced players and youth that is already making an impact, what does Thiel need to do to make a run in the PAC tournament?
We'll just get better defensively. I think our rebounding is good, as always. And our offensive ability is really improved because we can shoot the ball and open the middle up for Tejamola. And I just think that the older guys have to step up, take their game to another level. The freshmen have to keep advancing. But the biggest thing is you got to get much better defensively in order to win a league.
And I always like to get your perspective on the league as a whole. What's your take on PAC men's basketball this season? Seems like another year where top to bottom, pretty talented group.
Well, as you saw, I think we played Franciscan and they hadn't won. I don't know if they won a league game when we played them. They took us right to the end, and I think it was a 1-point game with Chatham before ours. So the teams at the bottom right now aren't going to stay at the bottom, and they're going to win. And the teams at the top, the league right now, they've been playing some of the weaker teams, so you don't know what the record, if it really means what type of team they are yet. So I think by mid-January we'll know what's going on.
That's Thiel head coach Tim Loomis. Coach, we always appreciate your perspective on the league and your team, of course. Good luck to you and the team the rest of the way.
Thanks. Really appreciate the time. Thank you.
I appreciate it as well. Thanks so much, Coach. We'll have the second half of today's game when we come back in just a moment.